Revelation 707. From the 11th of December 1938. Activity of the creatures. Creative power. Free will. See and understand that all creatures subordinate themselves to the will of God, and then try to make clear to yourselves how little own will already enables man to move in the order of God, and how versatile on the other hand he can work through this will, that is, which wide field of activity is open to him on earth. How again and again the human is chosen to form the exterior of the earth according to his liking, how always the creative power is given by God for this, and this can come to development in every way under right application of his free will. How he is therefore as it were creatively active himself, as far as it corresponds to human abilities. Everywhere the approval of God must accompany man's creative will, but God will respect the freedom of the will as far as possible, which is why also works arise, which can absolutely not find the full approval, because they offend against his commandments or the divine order. Or also not the preservation of the existing, but rather serve destruction, on which a certain selfishness or material profit-seeking is the basis. Where man can fully dispose of his will and is thus much ahead of the creature, he should use this wisely and deal with this gift of freedom in such a way that he first places every action at the Lord's disposal. In this way, his thinking and willing will be properly directed, and he will not run the risk of violating the divine order. What is evident in nature and can be observed again and again with all creatures, is the uniformity of activity adhering to every work of creation, and so man pays attention to it. He tries as far as possible to form himself and his creative urge in such a way that he does not fragment in an activity which brings no or only little benefit for mankind. The constant willingness to serve is a factor which is highly valued, and again man must be reminded that love should be the principle of all earthly activity. Then every action out of free will always correspond to the will of God. Then he has one thing ahead of the creature, that his higher development is his own merit, because he has used his free will for the progress of the soul. All creatures have their activities on earth prescribed to them, and they comply with them, because they cannot live differently than is God's will. While man has so many endless possibilities in earthly life consisting of different activities, and it is completely up to him to live in the will of the Lord, to submit himself to him, or to work contrary to the divine order. The ability to judge is given to everyone to recognize the will of the Lord, because otherwise one could not speak of a truly free will. The will is only completely free where the human being has knowledge of the one as well as of the opposite and can now do and leave according to his own discretion. He will also never be in doubt about what is good or evil and what is therefore pleasing to God or does not correspond to his will. It will therefore subordinate itself to the will of God, which always only strives to work and create in all love and for the blessing of its fellow people. God will help them with his help and increase and strengthen the knowledge, the energy and the will to love, and such a person will carry out their will of the Lord in every action and every thought. And his will always be subject to the Lord. Amen.